What's up, guys? Iceman here. Welcome to the Research Institution. So basically, I have a solution in terms of what would make Diablo 4 the greatest game to ever exist. Alright? I think it's pretty good so far, and for the most part, I like what is coming for Season 5. I'll be making more videos on those changes soon here, so stay tuned to this channel. But of course, there's a few nitpicks that I have, but nonetheless. A game like Diablo, similarly to Path of Exile, Last Epoch, anything that's in this genre, they're treasure hunting games for the most part. This isn't like Dark Souls, where it takes a lot of skill, timing, thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at the skill bar here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of my 6 skills are on a cooldown, alright? So there's not a lot of skill involved, generally, in this kind of game. Of course, Path of Exile has an unlimited roll with no cooldown, so that's going to add a skill aspect to the whole thing, but if we're talking about Diablo 4, there's not much skill. Cooldowns, this and that, you can copy and paste some build that some other guy tried out and found to prevail in the pits if you want. I think that kind of ruins the experience if you do that, but that's what most people do, right? They'll look at a guide, they'll copy and paste it, and then they'll play their character and they'll get bored once they find all the gear. So the allure here, in many ways, is treasure hunting. Now, I don't know how to say this. I'm a boomer, alright? I have been playing Diablo since the first Diablo. I discovered it in like 1997 or something. I was a young boy looking over my friend's shoulder and I was like, what kind of game is this? Like in those days I was playing maybe Zelda. And I thought Zelda was like the best game ever. This is Ocarina of Time. Maybe I discovered Diablo after Ocarina of Time. So like maybe it was 98 or 99. I was like, what kind of game is this? You like find items and you can talk to people online. I was like, this is crazy. So of course I went to the local game store and I bought it the next day. But I was enthralled with the concept, right? But basically, since those days I've been playing Diablo 2, along with many others. The game's been out for like 25 freaking years. And here's the crazy part. For one, everybody knows that Diablo 2 is pretty much the standard for action RPG games, right? This whole sort of concept where there's not a ton of skill involved, but you run around, you build your character up, you mess with numbers, and you find stuff. They know that's kind of the standard. And there are many reasons as to why Diablo 2 is probably the standard for this sort of game. One of which, perhaps the most important, is the itemization. Now check this out. Many of you might be inclined to talk shit about this, and that's fine if you want to. Go ahead and talk shit in the comments below. But I've been playing this game, Diablo 2, for about 25 years on and off. Alright? And there are still more items that I can think of that I've never found. I'm talking about, like, known items, well-known items, alright? I've never found a Tyrael's Might, for example. I've been playing the game for 25 freaking years. I never found a Templar's Might. I've maybe once found a Zod rune. Once or twice in 25 freaking years I found an SOJ, alright? But yet we keep playing the game. We keep coming back. We keep reliving it. The ladder resets. You only got 6 months to play it, or 4 months, and we're still playing it. Even though, like, we haven't... There's a lot of the gear that we've never even found. How the hell are we supposed to find that in 6 months, especially? You know what I mean? Or 4 months, or 3 months even. And I played the Project Diablo 2 mod of Diablo 2, which is probably the best way to play Diablo 2. Try out Project Diablo 2 if you guys haven't tried that. Even more depth to the itemization there. And tons of items I haven't found in that mod. But my point is, what makes a treasure hunting game so alluring and long-lasting and appealing, it harkens back to the idea that you and I were made to be immortal, alright? We're gods, if you will. Look deep within yourself. Go look in the mirror and contemplate such, alright? You're made to live forever, homie. That's why your mind is the way that it is. That's why our minds aren't like computers, where it's either there or it's not. We can either remember this thing, or we can't remember this thing and it's just deleted. You know what I mean? It's not, it's organic. It's like liquid or something. It's like sound waves. It's pulsating, alright? It's waves, it's not ones and zeros, you know what I'm saying? The essence of it is waves. It's like a river. Yeah, they say you never step in the same river twice, right? You see the waves and all that in the river, and it's always different. It's not. It doesn't recycle. It's just always anew because it's wavelengths. So with that being said, that's what this whole thing is predicated upon. This reality and this truth. So to appease that, here, let me go somewhere else with this for just a moment. A lot of you guys are addicted to prawn, right? You see the waifus on the prawn, and you want more and more and more. And you wouldn't be satisfied with just one waifu. You know what I'm saying? Like, you probably have it on your computer, the ones that you like, but it needs to be endless in order for your attempt of the fill that you're looking for, of the voids, the holes to be filled. It needs to be endless. So basically, the items in Diablo are like waifus, where they need to be endless. The possibilities need to be ongoing. But the problem is, the developers can only make so many items. The only limits, basically, are the limits to their creativity, which perhaps there are no limits to. But there are limits in the sense that in this current iteration that we find ourselves in, we're destined all to die. But the more they put into it, they could keep making items. And we could keep finding the items, which is kind of what has to be done here in order to keep this process of dopamine chasing and endorphin, like to reach those high highs and low lows. That's the way to achieve it. Is they have to have, to the best of their ability, endless items. And unfortunately, what this demands and requires is endless tiers of rarity as well. So if there's endless items, it's going to stimulate endless variations in builds, which I think is what everybody wants in a game like this, right? It's often a complaint that builds lack compared to other builds, and you have to go one route in this type of game in order to prevail in it. And this would be a way to solve that, is by adding more and more and more tiers and tiers and tiers, but not letting everyone have them all at once. Because if everyone had them all at once, we'd right away know which one works better and which one doesn't, and we'd just all be using the same damn build, like what kind of it resolves to in Diablo 3, for example. But in this case, if they keep adding items with different tiers of rarity, which is essential here, that means not everyone's going to have that. So you could find an item that's up here in the ladder in rarity that like no one else has found. And all of a sudden your character will be shooting lasers out of its freaking eyeballs or something. And people will see you in town. They'll be like, holy shit, how do you do that? You'll be like, well, it's because I found this rare-ass item from sheer luck. And maybe they didn't find the one that you found, but they found another one that was way up here in the ladder that was a hell of a lot more rare than the previous one. And then they're doing unique stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's what this game needs anyway. Let me know what your thoughts are on those matters.